The last time I saw you, you were telling me about buying stuff for your baby, and then I went out and bought stuff for your baby.
Yeah, I subtly dropped the hint to you that you should buy me something for my baby.
Like, I have a baby, I need stuff.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm so happy to see you since the last time I saw you because, you know, Trump talks about fake news a lot. You were also a victim of fake news, which is better than being a victim of what this said. I read that you were shot dead recently, and were you shocked when you read this?
I was, because I do the shooting. I was thrown by. You know what's weird is when you see that you don't know about it, you're the last person to know about it.
Right.
So everyone, like, phones you, and then everyone could, like, phoning your family. And then the weirdest is when people send you a text going, dude, are you dead?
Yeah.
And I always go, like, but why? Like, what do you think I'm gonna... So sometimes I just don't reply.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whatever.
They slowly piece together. This is very bad news.
You me that, yeah. But I mean, that's the internet. Welcome to fake news.
Welcome to fake news. You and I are both in the business of talking about politics, so right now we're talking about the president a lot.
Right.
I've heard you say that you actually relate to him, not as a politician, but you relate to him as a stand-up comedian.
Well, I think that's a part of Donald Trump I relate to. You know, I always think we try and put Donald Trump into one box, and I think he lives in many boxes. One of them being the box. He's a stand-up comedian. You probably see it in him. Like, he goes out, he practices his jokes, he works on his material. You can see him trying it out. Yeah. Like, he'd be like, what do you think, Sheriff Arpaio? What do you think? What do you think? And you can feel he's like, yeah, and the crowd cheers, and he's like, oh, I'm working on that bit. I'm working on that bit. And he works the material, he grows it, he goes out there, and then you can feel when it's starting to get old, like, he's like, who's gonna pay? Mexico! And some jokes, you feel the crowd sort of like, yeah, new jokes, we get it.
Yeah, and it is true, like, because Build the Wall, I feel like that was just a bit that crushed.
That was it.
And then now he realizes he has to build a wall.
Yeah.
And it was just a killer comedy bit.
Well, can you imagine if we had to do the things we said in our jokes?
Exactly.
I mean, I would be like, I don't want to be a comedian anymore.
If Larry the Cable Guy actually had to get her done, his life would be impossible. Do you have any notes on his performance?
Look, I mean, just work on new material, try something new. I was impressed with him today, like working with the Democrats. That shook everybody up.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's something different. That's something new. You know, when Republicans were like, wait, I'm sorry, the what? The what? The who? Even Democrats are like, you want to work with us? You want to work with... Yeah, this is new.
That must be... I mean, do you think Democrats, when that happens, feels like, is this some weird prank when he reaches out to be helpful?
I don't know. I think people are just like, just do it. Just do it now while he's like here. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, because Trump goes, I walk into a room, let's make a deal, let's speak. And I think Chuck Schumer knows him well enough, because I mean, they used to hang out in New York.
Yeah, they're New York.
And he's like, yeah, let's do it, Chuck. Let's just do the deal. And then he walks out and he goes to the Republicans. He's like, I made a deal. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And Mitch McConnell probably got so angry his neck started wobbling. He was just like, whoa, whoa.
And it's scary. Obviously, a lot of people are scared by Trump, but you see some humor in it as well.
Well, here's the tough thing. You know, people say to me, they go like, why would you guys laugh? Why would you? Two things. First of all, I've had the pleasure, and I guess I've been blessed enough to travel the world, see many countries. There are many countries I've been to where people don't have free speech. And one of the biggest things that an authoritarian leader tries to remove from you is the ability to make jokes about them. You know, in South Africa, you couldn't tell jokes about the government during apartheid, and that's something that I cherish. Like, a person is less frightening when you are laughing. It doesn't diminish what they do, but it's how we cope with these situations. And so for me, you know, when I look at Donald Trump, I go, he is a paradox for me emotionally. On the one hand, I am terrified at the notion that he's the president of the most powerful nation in the world. On the other hand, I know that I'm going to wake up and he's going to make me laugh. Like, the two things, they coexist. Yeah. They coexist. So, like, this is the way I put it. This is the way I like to think of it like this. I like to think of it like Donald Trump is basically, he's an asteroid headed towards the Earth, and it's an asteroid, but it's shaped like a penis.
That's a very good way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no!
Exactly. That's what I want. Right. That's all I want.
What do you because you are so well traveled, what do you think when you see him talking to world leaders of other countries?
I'm like, I thank God that we don't all speak English around the world. You don't understand what a difference it makes. Like, I remember traveling to the Middle East, and I was like, aren't you guys terrified? Like, he's loud and he's crazy. And they're like, oh no, people were like, it just sounds like he's speaking Arabic in English. That is all. Because like Arabic is like, and then Donald Trump is like, and people are just like, oh, it's like, yeah, I get it. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand how cultural it is. Like, if you travel around the world, and there are some places where they don't think of Donald Trump as being as crazy because they don't understand the nuances. In English, he's completely bonkers.
Yeah.
Right? Once you translate him, you find that like he loses half of his madness. Not all, but half.
We should every morning translate him into some other language and then have it translated back to us, just to take the edge off it.